Is there anyone on stage, and can I see hands, who is unwilling tonight to pledge your support to the eventual nominee of the Republican Party and pledge to not run an independent campaign against that person?
If I'm the nominee, I will pledge I will not run as an independent. I want to win as the Republican. I want to run as the Republican nominee. I will not make the pledge at this time.
I mean, this is what's wrong. He buys and sells politicians of all stripes. He's already hedging his bet on the Clintons, okay?
Well, I've given him plenty of money.
Senator Cruz, your colleague, Senator Paul, right there next to you, said a few months ago he agrees with you on a number of issues, but he says you do nothing to grow the party. You have a toxic relationship with GOP leaders in Congress. You called the Mitch McConnell a liar recently. How can you win in 2016 when you're such a divisive figure?
Chris, I believe the American people are looking for someone to speak the truth. If you are looking for someone to go to Washington, to go along to get along, to agree with the career politicians in both parties who get in bed with the lobbyists and special interests, then I ain't your guy.
Now we'd like your views on the nuclear deal. Take a look at this clip from the earlier debate. Here's what Carly had to say.
When America does not lead, the world is a dangerous and a tragic place. This is a bad deal. Obi broke every rule of negotiation. Yes, our allies are not perfect, but Iran is at the heart of most of the evil that is going on in the Middle East through their proxy.
Now, I wanna ask a few of you this. First, Governor Walker, you said that you would tear up the Iran deal on day one. If this deal is undone, what then? Iran is not a place we should be doing business with. To me, you terminate the deal on day one. You reinstate the sanctions authorized by Congress. You go to Congress and put in place even more crippling sanctions in place, and then you convince our allies to do the same. This is not just bad with Iran. This is bad with ISIS. It is tied together, and once and for all, we need a leader who's gonna stand up and do something about it. It is yet another example of the failed foreign policy of the Obama-Clinton doctrine. Senator Paul, would you tear up the deal on day one?
I oppose the Iranian deal, and will vote against it. I don't think that the president negotiated from a position of strength, but I don't immediately discount negotiations. I think President Obama gave away too much too early. I asked this question to John Kerry. I said, do you believe they're trustworthy? And he said no, and I said, well, how are we gonna get them to comply? I would have never released the sanctions before there was consistent evidence of compliance.
Governor Huckabee, what do you think about what Senator Paul just said?
Ronald Reagan said trust, but verify. President Obama is trust, but vilify. He trusts our enemies and vilifies everyone who disagrees with him. We disagree with him, and it has nothing to do with the party. It has to do with the incredibly dangerous place this world is gonna be as a result of a deal in which we got nothing. Not even the hostages.
Alright, gentlemen, we're gonna switch topics now and talk a bit about terror and national security. Governor Christie, you have said that Senator Paul's opposition to the NSA's collection of phone records has made the United States weaker and more vulnerable. Do you really believe you can assign blame to Senator Paul just for opposing the bulk collection of people's phone records in the event of a terrorist attack?
Yes, I do. And I'll tell you why. Because I'm the only person on this stage who's actually filed applications under the Patriotic Act, who has gone before the Foreign Intelligence Service Court, who has prosecuted and investigated and jailed terrorists in this country after September 11th, and I will make no apologies, ever, for protecting the lives and the safety of the American people. We have to give more tools to our folks to be able to do that, not fewer.
Majan, may I respond? May I respond?
Go ahead. Senator Paul.
I want to collect more records from terrorists, but less records from innocent Americans. The Fourth Amendment was what we fought the revolution over. I'm proud of standing for the Bill of Rights, and I will continue to stand for the Bill of Rights.
Imagine, that's a completely ridiculous answer. I want to collect more records from terrorists, but less records from other people. How are you supposed to know, Imagine?
Use the Fourth Amendment.
Listen, Senator, when you're sitting in a subcommittee, just blowing hot air about this. You can say things like that.
Gentlemen, I want to move on.